so isolated from the rest of your team. But it seems like Finland's pretty much doing the same thing with Power Grid, right? You have both teams now with a sort of pocket of resistance in the enemy land, right? So I think this game now is going to boil down to which team can punish that, right? Which team can take that little group and just shut it down before it is able to strike you in the back.
Yeah, at the same time, I mean, we also have a bunch of Finnish players up by Power Grid who could potentially end up in a similar situation. And once again, we have a circle that's going, I don't want to say unfair. Maybe it is exactly fair. And on each side, that's you ain't gonna be running for a long time there. She Created will be the first one down. So for the first time today, Finland finds themselves in the lead.
How the hell did Misa nearly 300 bullets already? Where's he got all them from? But so far, at least.
Tubsik is the last one to rotate around. Fortunately for him, the Turkish players weren't guarding the gates, so he'll be able to sneak his way through. They still have that one player advantage. Whether that's going to be enough to win it, of course, we don't know yet. Oh, no, actually, there were more. There was one more. One more Finnish player trying to make his way around. A lot of shots being fired already. If we can take a look at the map, maybe we can start getting a bit overview, because we have 25 seconds until the new circle pops. And I don't know. I mean, right now, it's very similar to me as last game. You have Finland in all kinds of center, but Turkey is also pretty well positioned on the hillsides they have to play around.
Yeah, but on that Wrangle game, Turkey had a very sort of coherent front line, right? They were all sort of together, and they were able to execute that death stack onto the hill that really won them the game. But this time they're split into these two groups, south and west. And with this circle, they're pretty much going to spend the whole game isolated. So it's going to be really rough. I mean, I expect maybe they'll try and get into Azahar, and we might see a bit of a city ending. But this northern group, it's going to be very rough for the group around Koidaval and Tierra Brunca to have any impact on this game.
So you can see Finland has, on purpose, taken everybody out of the city, but instead they're playing all the hills around it, except for the south side, of course. And it seems like they're going to continue to play that way. They're pushing more and more players up towards that west side hill. You can see Poro is up here, Stratus is up here as well. They're still taxiing people back and forth. And well, Mert made his way down. And I'm kind of thinking, because I like their defensive position, but I'm very, very interested now in seeing how Turkey is going to go about aggressing. Because as you were saying, they are kind of split into three smaller groups. And how do you... Mert, that's a no.
Mistakes were made,
indeed. But how do you, as Turkey, put on this aggression? Because they have to move. I mean, they're practically all outside the circle. Where do you go, and how do you plan on engaging?
I'd like to see them isolate this group around right now. And it's sort of the west of Azahar, because there's only about 8 people here. They're split into these two groups, one on the hill, one on the compound. If they can crash that, if they can maybe take the compound first and then push the hill, they can get like 5 or 6 kills. And even if they're just 1-for-1 trades, suddenly that opens them into a path into Azahar, right? It breaks the outer wall that Finland have set up around the city, and gives them an opportunity to get in. Because if that city ending does happen, it becomes a bit of a free-for-all, a bit of a 50-50, right? Because Finland doesn't have anyone in there. But Turkey need to make sure that they have a way in.
That they do. And where is it? What is the path? I mean, I feel like they have to push one of the Finnish kind of defensive positions. It's just a matter of them making up their mind and saying, okay, it's going to be that one or this one. Or maybe just kind of take the bait and say, you know what, we will push into LSR, and then hope that the circle is going to keep going that direction.
It definitely feels like Turkey are posturing towards that Western group, and maybe actually it looks like Finland are backing off.
They're forcing them off. Yeah, now the
suddenly,
they have rescinded. They're doing that right now.
Yeah, Finland backed off from the power positions in the circle. They had the compound, and I mean, they're going to get there first, but they had like 5 or 6 players there, and now they've only got 2. There's maybe a window of opportunity here for Turkey to be a bit aggressive, get into that compound, and suddenly take control of this game.
Yep, here they come. They're not afraid to push you. There's a lot of Finnish players coming over the hill, as you can see, but they're a little slow on the rotation. Thunderlust, hopefully he'll get back on his feet, but look at the Turkish presence. They are all here, and Finland just has to back off.
Yeah, they gave it up, and I really don't understand why, but like all of a sudden Turkey go from being in such a rough spot to arguably being the favourites here. I mean, yes, they don't have this high ground, but they have control of over half a circle now with that compound.
That is interesting. Now, I mean, they still have a pretty decent chunk of the circle, the Finnish side, and if the Turkish team has to leave the compound, then of course it's going to be tricky for them to do so, but Having said that, Turkey now has a foot inside the door, and they can get all their players in.
And this little northern group is able to lay down so much damage onto the Finnish roster because, yes, Finland can knock them, but there's no opportunity to flush them out, right? So as long as these guys can stay on the hill, this little sort of outpost of the Turkish roster can basically stop Finland from being aggressive at all and allow Turkey to push up this hill for free and start getting these knocks.
This is going to be very interesting. Nades are being thrown forward. That's
it's very good
one as well. Smash gets 2. Huth gets 1 more. And that, my friends, is how you deal with a lot of players at a very short time.
And that's where it goes from a pretty even game to suddenly swinging in Turkey's favor. A 4-kill advantage is probably going to be a lot more than that very soon. As Huth gets 2 down for free. There's not even any trading coming. He gets a 3rd.
Wow, speak of a front man, you wonder your team. Huth finds multiple kills, both with guns and nades, and once again, Turkey is all over the leaderboard.
Yeah, it just feels like Finland doesn't have any way to counter it. The Turkish roster is so coherent, so well sort of working as a team, and they're able to just slowly work their way up this hilltop, and with that long-range cover, means that Finland can't peek over the top, right? They can't look down the ridge and take out those kills, so it's always Turkey being aggressive, but there's a big fight going on the hill on the eastern side that looks like it's going in Finland's favor for now.
Yeah, Finland are getting quite a few of the kills back that they lost before, it seems. A lot of the players are falling. Therefore, trying to... I mean, Turkey also has to play this one careful, right? Because they cannot just full speed send it into their face. They know that there will be more Finnish players at a distance trying to hold off Anonymous on his own far away as well. That ain't going to be easy. Looking into the sky saying, oh Lord, can you please just give me a vehicle?
And this is where Turkey now can just slow down, right? They had that initial aggression. Now they can just stop. And Finland has to be the aggressive. But it looks like, actually, Finland, maybe they want to be the aggressive because they've got 3 kills untraded so far.
Yeah, they tried to flank around. They sent a little bit of a squad around the south side. And it seems like it's allowed for them to push underneath. Now, how does Turkey respond? Jupsik is on the side, has vision on 1 billion players. No one seems to realize that he's there.
But he was only able to get 1 down for now. It's a position where he kind of has to get 3 or 4, right? He has to do something massive. And the fact that they've all now just swung around on him, and he's suddenly in like a 3v1 means that first kill really isn't going to be massive in the grand scheme of things. He does go down. So that little flank, that sort of individual play is really not worked out for Finland. And suddenly it's just swinging all the way in Turkey's favor. And that kill feed is just all Turkish.
It sure seems to be. There was a little bit of a moment of hope for the Finnish players, but now it's swung back in favor of the Turkish. Shots fired. Paul Derek has 1 more bullet left in the AWM. No vest on now either. And once again, Turkey is tanking to the battlefield, and they're finding a lot of kills.
And I think that Jupsik play was a perfect example of exactly why Turkey are doing well, because Finland are relying on those individual plays, right? They're relying on that one guy to go on a flank and get a triple kill. Whereas Turkey, it just feels like they're always working together, always working as like a 3 or 4 man group. That it just seems to get, like, even when they go down, they always get traded and the other guy always steps in and gets another kill. So I think that's a big reason why Turkey are doing so well, and also why they're back-to-back champions.
I'm pushing over the top now. Again, the numbers that we're seeing on top aren't including knocked players, and I see there are a few knocked players on both sides, so numbers might not be exactly as they are. Misa, Jap finds kills. Is it enough, though? Turkey has 99.9% circle control here, and I'm not seeing what Finland can do at this point, to be fair.
Yeah, it just feels like Turkey are just so much better as a team right now. I mean, yes, mechanically, the teams are pretty well balanced, but Turkey just rolling over them. Like, neither game has been close. Both times Finland has had the sort of the ascendancy in position, and Turkey's just found a way to roll through them. And realistically now, Misa, once again, left on his lonesome, taken out. There we go. The victory in Turkey's favor. The second map going Turkey's way. And that was rough.
Oh, it was. And I feel like it's kind of the same situation we saw in the previous game, where Finland simply tries to do too much. They have players spread too thin. They try to take control of everything, but you can't do that and have a full-on Turkish team come sprint in your face too. And also, the whole backing off of the compound, had they all been on that hill instead of just splitting up, they would have been able to fortify it much faster and potentially hold off Turkey.
Yeah, we saw they sort of abandoned the city, right? They realized that they could spread out around the city and sort of prevent Turkey's access. Mm-hmm. And then it almost felt like with about 10 seconds to go on that phase 4 shift, that Finland sort of changed their mind.